I knew eventually, slowly but surely, the truth would come out, and I don't think you gotta be a rocket scientist to figure this out. It's not a good look. And when I say it's not a good look, I'm talking about for everybody involved in the situation and mess. Apparently and allegedly, Matthew Sluka, his agent, and his family, they're not too innocent in all this. Take a listen to this, and this is where the tables they start to turn. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all be having a great week. Hope all be having a great day. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. And man, oh man, we got some more drama. This is pretty much the part 2 to yesterday's video. If you didn't see it, you really need to watch it before you get into this one. If you didn't see or hear about what happened yesterday, let's just say it is one of the craziest NIL situations up to date. And we're going to run through this real briefly because it's quite as simple as this. You got to have some context. The big time breaking news came out early yesterday morning that UNLV starting quarterback, who by the way has led them to a 3-0 start, he is quitting the team. He posted this tweet I'm showing you right here on Twitter, and this is what he wrote. I'll read it to you yet again. I have decided to utilize my redshirt year and will not be playing any additional games this season. I committed to UNLV based on certain representations that were made to me, which were not upheld after I enrolled. Despite discussions, it became clear that these commitments would not be fulfilled in the future. I wish my teammates the best of luck this season and hope for the continued success of the program. If you want more info on this, like I said, go watch yesterday's video. But long story short, these quote-unquote representations he's referring to in this text is money. According to Matthew Sluka and his family, UNLV promised him, this was a verbal promise, $100,000 if he transfers there. This is apparently and allegedly, by the way, because we have no proof of this. This was just a verbal promise. Sluka transfers to UNLV, he enrolls in classes, and a couple weeks go by and he's not getting any of that money. Fast forward time even farther, he's now playing in games, he's winning games at that, and he hasn't got his $100,000. So Matthew Sluka continued to go up to him every now and then and ask him, hey, when am I going to get my money? And eventually, this is when the school and the collective came back to him and stated, all right, man, we're not going to give you $100,000, but we'll give you $3,000 per month. And here's the kicker with that. It's not even for a year. It's only for 4 months. In total, $12,000. $12,000 isn't chump change, but when you were promised $100,000, yeah, I think we can all agree, it's a slap in the face. Obviously, Sluka and his family, they weren't too happy about that, and it is stated the only money he has received from UNLV is $3,000, and that was for the relocation and his move and stuff like that. And it was also stated that he wasn't asking for any more money, he just wanted the $100,000 he was promised up front. We talked all about that yesterday, and what I said yesterday, I still stand 10 toes down on that. I don't blame the kid, and the only argument I need is this right here. Imagine going to work for 2 to 3 weeks. I'm talking to you watching this video because I assume a majority of you work, and your job doesn't pay you. Most people do the same thing Sluka did. Let's just say for sake of this video, you didn't get paid for 2 or 3 weeks of work. That check doesn't hit your direct deposit, and you're like, huh, what's going on? And the first thing you're going to do is what? You're going to go up to your boss or a higher up and ask them, hey, I didn't get paid for the last couple of weeks. Do you know what's going on there? The first time you ask them about it, they say, oh yeah, we're going to get it fixed. Couple weeks go by, it doesn't get fixed. So you wind up going up to them again a few weeks later saying, hey, what's up with my money? I still haven't received it. And they just continue to give you the runaround. Eventually it comes to a point where you just got to put your foot down and say, you know what? I'm done. I'm not working for a company that's not going to pay me. That's what's going on here. And I can't emphasize this enough. These 2 letters, IF. If that is what happened, I am totally on the young man's side. And yesterday, that's all we knew. But, and I have a really big but, you better believe this. If you watched yesterday's video, you may recall, I said I think something fishy's going on. I felt like we weren't getting fed all the information. I felt like something was missing. The one thing that didn't quite add up to me is if Matthew Sluka, his agent, his family were smart enough to realize and understand he doesn't need to play in a 4th game so he doesn't lose a year eligibility. That way, he can get more money in NIL the following season, have a year to improve himself and improve potentially his draft stock. How did they not know to get a contract written when they promised him $100,000? You see what I'm saying, right? Something's not adding up. Anybody with an ounce of common sense is smart enough to know you gotta get stuff in writing. So that's where we left off yesterday. Sluka and his family saying, yeah, they promised us $100,000, and since UNLV's not paying us, we're not playing for them anymore. Some other minor details I haven't touched on, but we don't have time for all that because we gotta get into what is now transpiring. Apparently and allegedly, Matthew Sluka, his agent, and his family, they're not too innocent in all this. Here's where things really get interesting, though. Apparently and allegedly, Matthew Sluka did not, let me repeat that, did not have a registered agent when he committed to UNLV. So you see how this is looking, right? If not, I'll take it a step even farther. By the way, I am just reporting on this news. I am not saying this is true or false. I just want to clarify that so I can protect myself. This is not my tweet or anything like that, but it currently has over 7 million views. Take a listen to this, and this is where the tables they start to turn. All financial commitments for UNLV quarterback Matthew Sluka were completely met. But after wins against KU and Houston, Sluka's family hired an agent, and they collectively feel that his market value has increased, per source. Woo! Man, oh man, what about that? That information right there, that changes everything. I'm not saying it is true, I'm not saying it isn't, I'm the messenger, so do as you please with the information. But I'll tell you this much, the more I thought about it, the more I started to realize it's not too far-fetched, and it's actually believable. Because let's think about it, from a financial standpoint and business standpoint, it's brilliant. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier. I felt like something was fishy in all of this. Think about what has happened. UNLV, they start out 3-0. Sluka, he's a starting quarterback, and he's increasing his NIL value every single week. Is he one of the best quarterbacks in the nation? Absolutely not even close, but he is proving his worth, and some teams out there might want to go after him. And remember, this is his last season of college football if he were to play the remainder of the season. He's only 3 games in, so him and his family, they're like, well, wait a minute. Why don't we try to see if we can make some money elsewhere? At this point in time, they're not even worried about the 100K. They got bigger fish to fry. They're not looking at it from this perspective. Let's just call it quits, sit out the remainder of the season, and let all these teams come after us in the portal. You already know his agent was reaching out to all these other schools saying, hey, are you interested in a quarterback? If so, how much are you willing to pay for Matthew Sluka here? For the sake of this video, not saying this is going to happen, just hypothetically speaking, Iowa reaches back to his agent Cromartie and says, hey, we're interested in him and we'll give you $200,000 a year. How's that sound? Sluka's agent is like, perfect, that sounds great, but here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go back to UNLV and say, hey, they got to match it, and if they don't match it, $200K, we'll sit out this remainder of the season and we'll transfer there. I know that sounds like a lot, and it is a lot to take in a process, but behind the scenes, I'm not saying that's what's happening with this situation, but that is happening in college football, especially with these big-time players in high school and in the transfer portal. When they go on these visits, they're telling these schools, hey, Ohio State offered me $1.5 million, so if y'all ain't going to offer $1.5 million, I'm not even going to consider y'all. Granted, everything I just said, let me clarify, none of it's true. There's zero proof. I'm just throwing out some wild scenarios. I say wild, but to tell you the truth, I don't think they're too wild. All Matthew Sluka is doing is business 101. He's leveraging himself, and all power to him. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I watch or kept up with Matthew Sluka up until this point when we started talking about him yesterday, because I didn't and I haven't and I probably won't anytime after this. But I can tell you this, he's in a much better situation financially in the NIL department than he was before the season started. Whether he's put up insane numbers or not, a quarterback that has led a team to a 3-0 record, there's something to say about that. But whoa, hold on. I got to show you this before we go any farther. Finally, and I mean finally, UNLV, they released a statement. Football player Matthew Sluka's representative made financial demands upon the university and its NIL collective in order to continue playing. UNLV does not engage in such activity, nor does it respond to implied threats. UNLV has honored all previously agreed upon scholarships for Matthew Sluka. UNLV has conducted its due diligence and will continue to operate its programs within the framework of NCAA rules and regulations as well as Nevada state laws. So there we have it. UNLV has came out and stated, this is from the university, that Matthew Sluka and his agent came up to them and demanded money. It goes back to what we were just talking about a few minutes ago. His agent told him, hey man, your NIL stock, whatever you want to call it, it's at an all-time high, so our best bet is to leverage that. And the best way to leverage that is to sit out, look at the market, and tell UNLV, well, I think I'm worth around $200,000, $300,000. You say, are you going to pay me? They say no, and okay, if you're not going to pay me, that's cool, wishing you the best, but I'm going elsewhere, and that's where we're at. Here's the official statement from the NIL collective. We want to address the recent developments surrounding Matthew Sluka and his decision to redshirt for the remainder of the year. To clarify, there were no former NIL offers made during Mr. Sluka's recruitment process. Additionally, friends of UNLV did not finalize or agree to any NIL offers while he was part of the team, aside from a completed community engagement event over the summer. At Blueprint Sports and friends of UNLV, we take our commitments very seriously. We would like to emphasize that we have upheld all friends of UNLV UNLV contracts this season and have not defaulted on any agreements with Mr. Sluka. Our commitment to supporting Rebel student athletes remains unwavering, and we are dedicated to maintaining the integrity of our programs. We wish Mr. Sluka all the best in his future endeavors. Okay, so there's that. Those are the two official statements from, yet again, the collective and the university. With all that being said, there's this new theory floating around that a team reached out to him and his agent and told him, hey, if you don't play this next game at UNLV and you redshirt, we'll offer you more money next season. And that right there leads us into a completely different conversation, because that's the definition of tampering. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news to all of you college football fans out there, but tampering's been going on for years and it will continue to go on. It happens every single day. Most tampering, I don't really care, doesn't get me worked up, but this, yeah, this ruins the game. And yet again, it's such a gray area, because I can't fault the player for chasing the bag, because for a lot of these guys, this is the most amount of money they're going to see in their life. But at the same time, you hate it for the game, because you got an undefeated team who just lost their quarterback. And you can say, well, Matt, the backup quarterback's fine. That's not the point. The point is, without regulation, you're seeing it live. It's happening right in front of your eyes. College football is turning into a crap show. I just hope and pray for the sake of the sport this isn't true, but it's looking like it is. I don't mind if he came to the executive decision that he's worth a couple $100,000 or maybe even $1 million in his opinion, so he's going to sit out the remainder of the season and test the portal. I don't mind that at all. But what I do mind is if a team reached out to him while he was playing at UNLV and gave him this idea, and that's where he's going to transfer. I hope that didn't happen, but hey, you never know. I knew eventually, slowly but surely, the truth would come out, and I don't think you gotta be a rocket scientist to figure this out. It's not a good look. And when I say it's not a good look, I'm talking about for everybody involved in the situation a mess. That is the newest of new updates. There's many more things I could say. What it off here. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts on all this down below. But Roman.